Well, let's shift gears and talk about the auto space in greater detail. The production target for Maruti remains in the limelight. And what are they doing with respect to the uncertainty over the chip supply as well as their long-term targets? Shashank Srivastava is the Senior Executive Director, Marketing and Sales at Maruti Suzuki and now joins us on the show. Mr. Srivastava, thanks for taking time out. Let's begin by talking about the production target for April and beyond. In light of the current chip shortage situation that we're seeing, does that stand to get impacted?
Very difficult for me to give the forward-looking number for April, but I must tell you that we have seen slightly better situation as far as semiconductor supply is concerned in the last few months. So if you look at September, production was only 40%. In October, it was about 60. In November, it was about 83, 84. In December, it was 90. In 91, 92% in January, 95% in February, 95% in March as well. So things have gone better. However, it's not normalized yet. And the reason is that there is a lack of visibility that we can have for the next few months. And that's the reason why I find it so difficult to say when it will be 100% normalized. And therefore, also, when you talk of production targets or sales targets in the coming few months, it's very difficult to give the number without having the exact supply situation in mind. And that, as I just mentioned, is a little difficult to predict, both because the visibility is not there and the supply chains globally, global supply chain is involved. It's very complex for us to at the moment tell you about the future numbers.
And given that many OEMs have increased the prices of vehicles, the last time we spoke, you also said that you're contemplating a price hike. Is there anything planned out as yet?
Yes, so it's actually a continuous process. We keep examining our cost structure and what effect commodity prices has on the overall material cost and therefore on the profitability. So it's a continuous exercise that we do. And you are right, the commodity prices have remained stubbornly high. Given the various situations, the global situation, we have seen that the expected softening hasn't happened. And but of course, for us, the price hike is the last resort, because whenever there is a pressure on profitability, we first look at how to cut our costs and how to improve our efficiencies, how to improve our productivity, and the price hike is the last resort. And having said that, you were very right when you pointed out that the price hikes that Maruti Suzuki has undertaken in the past do not really cover the entire effect of commodity increases. And we were quite hopeful that commodity prices will soften, but they haven't. And therefore, we are monitoring the situation, and we will decide on what action is to be taken. But of course, we have to look at both sides, the top line as well as bottom line. So we can't really just increase the prices without looking at the effect it may have on volumes, or look only at the volumes and not increase the prices, because we have to do a fine balance. And that's what we are trying to do at the moment, very closely watching the situation.
Srivastava, good morning. This is Nantara also joining in. I wanted to talk to you about exports as well. In the year gone by, what a phenomenal performance by the company, 2.38 lakh units. For the new financial year, what's the target?
Yeah, so hopefully we continue with the same trend going forward. And you're very right. This time we have had record exports, 238,000 upwards, 230,500 almost, comparing with just around a lakh or so the previous year. So in that sense, it's been a great achievement overall for Indian economy, and especially we are very proud at Maruti Suzuki for this export numbers. Hopefully it will continue going forward also. But as I said, the visibility on the supply side isn't very clear for next year, and that's the reason why I may not be able to comment on the total numbers for next year.
That's as far as exports go. But just coming back now to domestic sales and the domestic market, the entry-level car, which Maruti Suzuki has ruled in India for years and years, there has been a bit of pressure. What's the market looking like? What are the plans?
So you are right. The entry-level hatches, for example, have come down as a percentage of the total market. You're right. And I think one of the important reasons have been that the cost of acquisition over the last few years for the entry-level segment have gone up disproportionately higher compared with the other segments. If you look at the SUV segment, which is now almost 40% of the overall market, that's a segment which has grown. And overall, the hatches segment has come down to today to around 38% or so. And that is where I think the core issue is that we are grappling at the moment. Because if you remove the SUVs, Maruti Suzuki's market share is a record high at the moment, about 66%, which is really good. However, and when you include the SUVs, then the market share comes down, because in SUVs we are at a weaker wicket as far as the market share is concerned. So we are definitely looking at strengthening our portfolio in the SUV sector going forward, and hopefully that should give us the push in our objective of trying to get up to 50% market share.
Sure. Shashank, also, the market share in the SUV segment has clearly improved because that was your focus in the third quarter, right? Any improvement that you've seen since in this quarter?
Yeah, so it's basically about strengthening the portfolio. Hopefully, when that portfolio is strengthened, remember, the industry SUV, total SUV models in the industry about 46. Maruti Suzuki has only 2, the Brezza, which is the market leader, by the way, in the entry SUV segment, and the S-Cross. So one objective is to increase our total sales of the existing models that we have, which is the S-Cross and the Brezza. And at the same time, when you look at the total portfolio of only 2 models against 46 in the industry, there is a realization that we must strengthen our portfolio in this segment. And that is what we are hoping to do. And that probably is what was reflecting in the confidence on my face, as you said.
Right. Shashank, such a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you so much for taking the time out. Okay, on that note, we're going to wind it up on this edition of The Market. It's a goodbye from Nayantara, Avan and me.